looks so cool with the pixie cut. Sorry, I keep playing with it. Oh, that's why I couldn't have a pixie cut. I would be like, I'm single. Smooth. Hello, my people. I'm gonna keep this intro super short, but I'm doing I'm doing a giveaway for all my people. We love a hardworking father. I'm gonna be doing it the whole entire back to school season because not everyone can afford school supplies. And I also gave away some other things like vinyls and so on. And all you have to do is be following on Instagram at Jessie Page. I'd like to think I post some quality, honestly, some quality meme content. I post some weird stuff on there. Thank you for supporting my memes. It means a lot. Listen, if someone will support your content, the good and the trashy, I'm doing a separate giveaway if you follow on Twitter. It's basically just me tweeting about Big Hero 6 and people I find attractive and bands I enjoy and so on too. We love that too. It's really cute and wholesome, yeah. Though I've been like a little bit of a, okay, like me cursing once every 3 months is like me being risque. It's Jessie Page we're talking about, okay? Progress. And I'm doing a separate one if you're just subscribed on YouTube. Hope that made you feel awkward and pressure to subscribe, because that made me feel awkward, but like in the best way. Okay, if you would like for me to do a separate video on bullying, and if you would really appreciate that, and you're just looking forward to more mental health related videos that are related to back to school, please, if you give this a thumbs up, get supported, it'd be really appreciated. And let's get started. This video is all based on things I learned from my own personal experience, because I really isolated myself in high school, but I don't want it to be all about my story. I want it to be about you guys and helping you, because I care about you all. I'm a hardworking father that loves. But I'm just gonna like give a quick premise and just vaguely talk about some of my experiences. So, okay, you know that movie Perks being a wallflower? Just the term being a wallflower? Well, that was me to a new extent, because there were a lot of factors, and probably one of the biggest ones was that like ever since I was 2 years old, I was getting tested for various things and people weren't really sure. My parents were kind of worried because I wouldn't talk. That also created quite a bit of social anxiousness, which I realized was so frequent that it was social anxiety at the time. And basically all of these things together, I felt the need to isolate myself, and it was like survival mode for me, which was not good for me, so bad for me. Because I did isolate myself, it was so hard for me. I was in my own bubble and I didn't know so much of the world because I was so scared of even talking on the phone with people. And anyways, I was not bullied in high school or middle school. There were a few little instances, but I wouldn't say it was to the point where I could like say I was bullied. And if anyone's going through that, I really do send you like all the love in the world. My brother, however, was severely bullied, and seeing what he went through, especially as like a super shy person that just was so incredibly terrified all the time of social interaction, and especially that type of social interaction, I went into flight mode and I just isolated myself from everyone, and that caused for me to essentially have no friends. So middle school and high school, I had very few friends that I really identified with, and everyone else thought I was mute. Yeah, I talk. And then I went to a public high school and I had very few friends there. I had enough where I felt at least like decently comfortable. And then when I moved schools, I had to move because my brother, again, was being bullied, and it was really hard. My brother and I going to such different schools because they were both very far. So I switched to the school that he was going to, and the switch was really hard for me, and I didn't identify with anyone there. And honestly, I basically went through the majority of high school with no friends. Ironic jazz hands. I use comedy as a coping mechanism. No, for real, I take things seriously, and I want to take my experiences and tell all of you what I wish I heard and make you feel included, because I was so sad and terrified for the future and pessimistic, and I hated myself. I hated myself so much. I definitely still deal with insecurity, everyone does, but I think that was my lowest point for my self-esteem. And yeah, I hope this helps you out. I've made back to school videos over the years, and the past 2 years I've decided I'm gonna make these back to school videos even deeper and more helpful, and I'm going to make them all mental health related, because that's something I am incredibly passionate about. I'm currently studying psychology in college. I've never talked about that. My grandma's a therapist. It's always something I've been fascinated with. It's always something I talk about on my channel, and I was like, let's do it in relation to school. So you just saw like nerdy ass Jessie. I don't like to show her too much in my videos. Okay, I love you all, and let's get into it. First thing I'm going to be talking about are online friends. Probably one of the things that got me through like all of high school was the fact that I had YouTube. I know it's gonna sound incredibly cliche, but I'm just being honest, it really did help me. I felt heard. It wasn't the follower count that made me feel heard, it was the fact that I had a separate place to talk, because I always only did clubs because my friends did them all throughout middle school and high school, and when I isolated myself and didn't have friends, I never talked because I had no one to talk to. And you don't have to start YouTube, obviously, but I would say definitely finding an online group chat and so on. I happen to have like the nicest people ever. Like genuinely, I don't know, you guys are all really nice and have little group chats together, and you guys will have different group chats. Like, hey, I want to have a group chat that's for people that are LGBT and questioning. I've like seen some of you guys organize that, and that makes my heart so warm. Thank you. Just thank you for helping each other out. Like, as a father, that makes me proud. So yeah, if you know, or even just you guys will create group chats if you guys all like the same artist, like the same band. Like I've seen you guys have Panic at the Disco ones together, or even just like Jessie Page ones. It's so nice. And if you have a bad day at school, you can talk about it with other people that maybe are struggling as well. And sometimes it's hard to remember that other people are struggling too. And it's not that other people's struggles validate your struggles and you want other people to struggle, but it's knowing that other people are struggling but still getting up every morning and are living their best lives and are trying, and that they're hopeful. That is what's important. So I'm gonna list a few ways to make online friends, especially if you're a little shy like me and the thought intimidates you. Number one is to find people with similar interests. You can go to Twitter, Instagram as well. You can find people with similar interests, find accounts, even DM accounts. You don't even have to be a fan account yourself. I'll just see just like LGBT supportive teens like running Instagram accounts, and I'm sure they would love to hear DMs about your own stories and so on, and that's a really good way to make online friends. And Club Penguin, no, rest in peace, no! It makes me so emo. I miss Club Penguin, wow. I had some great dates on there. I don't go on any dates now. That's why I made a single joke the first minute of the video. So those are some ways that I have realized you can make online friends. Make sure if you are making online friends, make sure that you are doing it in a safe environment. I care about you. There's some forums that probably are linked to some people that don't have the right intentions and aren't who they say they are. So just always be cautious. Always be cautious, but there's a difference between being cautious and like totally just canceling the idea of internet friends, because I think as long as the situation's good and everyone's being safe and they're protecting themselves and it's legitimate, then it could be one of the most incredible, beautiful things. Yeah. Okay. That was like very soft, Jessie. I mean, I'm already soft, but like that was like the most wholesome. You can make a whole loaf of bread. It's so wholesome. Okay. Self-love. So when you don't really identify with anyone else at your school, and when you do feel isolated, it's hard to love yourself. It is so hard. Like I said, it was the hardest point, because you're wondering, why can't I live like these people? What's so easy for other people, why isn't easy for me? You have to realize that everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. There's some things you can control, there's some things you can't control. One thing you have to always remember is to never give up and lose hope. I definitely had a few moments where I found myself losing hope, and I never thought I would ever find my voice, and I thought I would just live my whole life following everyone else's footsteps. I think if I hadn't started YouTube, I would have just, I don't even know. I'm getting emotional, man. Anyways, self-love is incredibly important, especially if you're going through this. It's kind of great because it's a reminder of like, it makes you feel like I don't need to have physical friends in school to be a whole legitimate badass human. I am great on my own. Yeah, I don't need that. Some ways that I engaged in self-love. I followed my passions. When I didn't have friends in high school, that is when I freaking thrived. That's when I learned to shred an electric guitar. It's something I'm really proud of and passionate about. I've been playing for 13 years. I'm looking at my guitar and I'm like, my baby! But finding a passion, that is such a great form of self-love. Another thing is just taking time to get to know your family, because when it comes down to it, you know, it's really hard to keep in touch with friends from school, especially from high school after you graduate. So you want to make sure, you know, obviously quality over quantity. If you do find people you do feel comfortable with and that you identify with. 3 is if you are beating yourself up in your head constantly because you don't have friends, because it can be more prevalent if that's what you're going through. You can definitely get help, and you deserve it 100%. You deserve to talk to someone, even if it's a school counselor. For the best thing about me just kind of being alone in high school was I didn't give a crap about what people thought about me as much. That was like my form of self-love, and I think for a while I took the not being friends with anyone thing and I turned it into self-hatred, and I'm gonna just stifle everything about myself, and then I'm like, no, I don't have anyone making fun of me. This is cool. It's kind of cool that it's just me. So like I'm gonna find some cool interests that other people might think are weird as hell, and I'm gonna love it. Like that's when my love for like intense anime like really came through. I went to Anime Expo this year and it was like the best weekend of my life. Clubs. If you love electric guitar or you sing, yay, that's so cool. That's so cool. Proud. If you don't find anyone that you identify with at school, you know, you can join a band or maybe find kids that are older than you or younger than you that also have the same interests. Joining clubs is a really good way to find other people with similar interests. There are even like so many different youth groups and so on, depending on how you identify, what your religion is, so on. If that's something that ever even makes you feel a little isolated, or maybe that's one side of yourself that you haven't really fully embraced because you haven't found other people that also identify that way, then that's a really cool way to just get more comfortable with your identity and also to make friends if you don't have friends in school. Yeah, for me, I personally never talked about this online. Am I gonna do it? Yeah, you know what? Screw it. This year, I really wanted to talk about this. Essentially, I was raised Jewish and my family's Jewish, and I didn't have friends in school, so I took up Hebrew. I can read Hebrew. I love Hebrew. And I got bat mitzvah, and I went to Israel and got to experience the culture, and it's something that was really cool for me. And I mean, obviously not everyone that's watching this is gonna be Jewish, but like just an example, you could do church camp. You can join an LGBT youth group. You can join Girl Scouts. I was a Girl Scout. I found a ton of other wholesome people. As we got older and older, the people that like really stuck with Girl Scouts, it was more and more about charity. And because it was more and more about charity work, that's why like I like to donate money in a lot of my videos and stuff. Honestly, a lot of that comes from like my Girl Scout roots. Some of the nicest people I met were from there because everyone made fun of us for being Girl Scouts, but like we loved it. Which I don't know why they made fun of us. Like we had dope cookies. Have you tried a Samoa? A Thin Mint? A frozen Thin Mint. My kink. Alright. Another thing, don't tell yourself you're never gonna have friends. If someone comes by and you really get along with them, it can be really scary after you haven't been friends with anyone to open up to people. It can be so terrifying, but you deserve that. And it's really hard to, you know, trust people and so on, but you can tell people what you want as you start to feel more comfortable, and it's something to celebrate. Yay! Oof, it's getting so dark outside. Like my soul. No, just kidding. I'm a bright and happy being. It looks all like spooky. It's like I'm telling like a weird bedtime story. And that is why Ratatouille is an underrated movie. That felt so cool. Okay. Anyways, set goals for yourself daily. Even if it's just saying hi to one person. Another thing is if you really do have issues just opening up to people, you can have people that you're just friendly with. I had some people in school that like I would just have casual talk with, and I wouldn't even really consider them my friends. We didn't know a lot about each other, but that was definitely like a first step for me before I was able to actually open up to people, and be proud of yourself for even being able to do that. That's really cool. Another thing is I would do my homework at lunch. I would eat my food and do my homework at the same time, and then when I gotta go home, I would like go on my One Direction Tumblr and stuff. I actually did. And like, as a closeted girl, would definitely read some weird gay stuff, and like, that was what I did, and it was good for my mental health. It was like a way of self-love, and other people, when they went home, they had to work on their schoolwork, but I always got it done actually during my school day. That was another thing. It's a little tip. Wow, this lighting. I look so dark and magic. And then, when the clock strikes midnight, I look like literally like an anime villain. Like a cartoon villain. Do not be embarrassed when your parents hug you or drop you off for school, because your parents love you, and that's a sign of love, and that's something to be appreciative of. Your parents are going to be the ones sticking the hell through with you, and that one random person looking past you that is literally going to judge you for hugging your parent, loser. They're the loser. Appreciating your parents is not lame, okay? It's so not. Like, it's not, I promise. Especially if you're appreciating your dad. too. I promise you, people aren't watching you as much as it seems in your head. And in fact, what helped me was just assuming no one was watching me, and not in a bad way. First, I was assuming no one was watching me and like, no one cares about me, but as in like, no, everyone's focused on themselves and their own confidence, and I'm gonna focus on being confident in my own skin by myself. Focusing my energy more on that really helped. So, and now I go to events and wear rainbow crowns in public. Like, I promise you, it's a possibility. It takes so much time, baby steps. Not having anyone you identify with or that you really feel friendly with in school does not mean you're never gonna find those people ever. There's so many humans in the world, and dogs. Dogs are so nice and supportive and just beings that will make you feel nice. Oh my god, I look so creepy with this lighting. Okay, now stop with the maniacal laughing. Don't let other people's interests influence your other people's interests don't have to be yours. And if you have an interest that is unique to yourself and it's not conventional, that's freaking great. And trust me, as an adult, kids sometimes in high school are so mean about that stuff, but it was definitely not like cool that I really play electric guitar. Surprisingly, like electric guitar is so cool. Why was that not cool? Anyways, no one really cared, and I was like, oh, okay. But now, like as an adult, people think it's so cool. But even if people are like, yeah, that's dope, like especially a girl playing electric guitar, but even if people like as an adult like didn't approve of it, I would still freaking play it and slay it. I didn't mean to make that rhyme. Telling jokes to yourself and making yourself laugh is the best. That's a Jessie Page video. There, I'm doing it right now. If you don't have an audience, just make yourself laugh. It's so fun. I love having witty banter in my head, okay? That was a silly one. I had to throw in a silly. There are ups and downs to everything. What was really cool about not having friends was that I didn't really have drama in my life. It was really cool. I didn't really deal with high school drama except for like a few people just making fun of my YouTube channel, but like I eventually got over that. Yeah, but there are like benefits, you know, upsides and downsides to everything, and sometimes you can't control a situation, and that's okay. I believe that if you just keep spreading love and positivity into the world, it will come back to you. And when people were like really mean to me, I just wanted to become a negative person and let it consume me, but instead I didn't hate those people, and I just kept trying to be the most positive person I could be for myself. And it's not selfish to do that. You're not selfish for taking time for yourself, and the amount of friends you have doesn't define you as a person. It really doesn't. I really believed it did. The amount of followers you have on social medias, etc. also definitely doesn't define you as a person, especially the number of friends. And just be appreciative for good food and dogs and great YouTube videos. And there's so many beautiful things in the world, and if there's no one in your school that you identify with, it'll be okay. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna feature your accounts and a ton of your posts. I stan you all, and I will see you in the future. Mwahaha. Okay. I actually like really like the maniacal laughing. It makes me feel cool.